Okay, there it is.
There it is.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Okay, there it is.
As always, make sure your audio is up, that everyone can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Let's find out.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Let's find out.
Wow, that fan is loud. I'm gonna have to turn that off.
Just eat the mic.
No. Delicious.
I love the taste of metal and plastic.
Okay. Great thing is that I can press triangle and we face the camera like we're talking to the audience. When I press it again, we talk to each other. Amazing.
Oh,
I'm so good at video games.
Fancy.
Anyway, hello everyone who may be watching this now or later. We've done this once before the FanFest for Endwalker, I think, is the last time we did this. So here we are again. We are the Wayfinders. Jess couldn't be here. They're feeling a bit under the weather. But you got me, you got Kevin, and we're here to talk about shit. Kevin, talk about shit.
I don't want to talk about that.
Well...
That stinks.
Anyway, I know I tend to ramble, so who knows how long this will fucking be. But I have a list.
Let's try to get it before 11 o'clock.
Well... Goddamn. I will try. An attempt will be made. But there's a lot to talk about. So... first and foremost, we should mention that we will be at FanFest. So, there's that. So you won't see our live reactions like usual. It will be post-edited. All that sort of nonsense. So, introductions out of the way. Let's start off with talking about how we feel about Endwalker. How do you feel about base Endwalker base 6.0?
It was good. A good ending to the last 10 years of build-up.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Emotional.
Yes.
Emotions. Lots of them.
A lot of things happened that I wanted to happen. Lots of satisfying conclusions. Not the best paced expansion, I think.
Yeah.
Because, oh man, that Loprit section right after Zodiark.
Oof.
The highest high to the lowest low.
And then back up again.
And tailing missions. Make sure you don't get caught while you chase after somebody. I've never encountered a game where those have ever been fun, and it wasn't fun here.
Nope.
Couldn't help it. I don't think they included that in the 6.x series, did they?
No.
Well, thank goodness for that. Overall, I want to say this is probably the most emotional expansion. At least base 6.0 was.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of just an entire expansion of payoff, really.
Yeah.
So.
Shadowbringers started it.
Yes.
Shadowbringers walked so Endwalker could run.
Shadowbringers was the layup, and Endwalker was the slam dunk, basically. It was kind of like the perfect little 1-2 combo.
Yes.
I think if you had to hard press me for an answer, I still think Endwalker is a better story. I mean, I think Shadowbringers is a better story. It's got Emmett, and you're not going to beat that villain-wise. And just there's a reason why I'm always excited anytime they're like, okay, we're going back to the first. I'm like, yeah, send me back. Let's go. And we're about to do that again, apparently. But we'll talk more about that later. Let's move on to the 6.x series. How do you feel about the MSQ? We'll start with the MSQ of the 6.x series.
Well, I mean, I played 4 in almost all of its versions. The GBA, well, besides the SNES version, but the GBA version and the 3DS remake, or not 3DS, Lord have mercy.
This is
the
a bit.
DS remake.
You're doing a bit. What is this
So, it was good for me.
You're the one freaking talking about let's not have this be longer than 2 hours.
Hey, I had to explain. So it's good. It was good for me to see things from other Final Fantasies in here, but made to fit 14.
Zero is fantastic. I love Zero. She was a little rocky at first, but I think she's really found her footing and feels like part of the group now. So that's good. I am both happy that she did not turn out to be the bad guy and did not die. I am happy for both of those things.
Yep.
Because there was a lot of speculation that one or both of those things were going to happen.
Yep.
You were the one who threw out the name Zeromus, which turns out to be something different now.
Yeah. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't.
If you're
finished.
watching this a couple days before FanFest, and you're watching this, and you're like, God damn it, I haven't done it yet, you should probably go do it. Because there's going to be a lot more unavoidable spoilers on Twitter this time next week.
Yeah.
So, oh man. What else about 6.0? I mean 6.x. Food tech. Amazing food tech for some reason. Need to show us that that bread splitting. It's been story-wise, I think it's been very slow, but then again, I expected this. I expected a slow build-up to 7.0. Because we knew we weren't going to get that 0.3 high note.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew this was going to be all build-up to 7.0. So, while it's been slow, I still find it interesting. I will say, moving on from the MSQ, I don't think it's quite as interesting as the story in Pandemonium or the story in Myths of the Realm. But those are finishing up loose ends that we've been curious about, so... At least Myths of the Realm.
Pandemonium's finished it anyway.
Yeah, Pandemonium's finished. I really enjoyed Pandemonium. Is it my favorite raid series? I don't think anything will ever beat Coil for me.
Yeah.
I want to say this is better than Eden, and Eden was my runner-up. So, I'll say it's a strong second place for me.
That's fair.
How do you feel?
About the same.
Yeah.
I didn't really like Alexander that much.
I don't remember it. I should probably go back through it.
I was a cutscene skipper through most of that because it was just on and on and on. I fell asleep during a couple of them.
Yep.
So it wasn't that interesting to me. Coil was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
because it was that continuation of 1.0, but I mean, I didn't play 1.0, but still, it was finishing that up, and it was great.
I went back through Coil before Endwalker, and can definitely say it still lives up, story-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Still has really strong music, too.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of forget all the bangers that come out of that. Speaking of bangers, Pandemonium has been so good with music. Oh my god. Scream is... I want to say it's in my top 5 Final Fantasy XIV tracks. And that is a powerful list.
Yeah. It's good.
So, good stuff there. Let's move on to Myths of the Realm.
It
Not
took
finished
a while
yet.
to get started. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So I think a brief recap. I think we can. It was all but confirmed that the 12 are Vanna's followers from before the Sundering, and they're all sort of tasked with upholding certain ideals for humanity to look up to. I think is what they talked about when we uncovered the truth of that pillar.
Yeah, but those ideals change
over time due to man's perception.
Mm-hmm.
But the obelisk itself is supposed to help them remember exactly what their purpose is.
Yeah.
So it's been real interesting. We've only been asking about the 12 since forever. So I'm very satisfied with what we've been getting so far. I am feeling every single one of these 8 months between each one. Oh god. So it's not completely finished yet. One more part to go.
What, 2 months till that?
Yeah, something like that. Which can lead right into 6.5 speculation. Since we're already talking about the 24-man, what do you think that's gonna happen with that? We already know Derek is heavily involved as Oshan somehow.
Yeah.
Are we going to fight him? Is he the final boss?
Well, I mean, it's 12 of them, so...
Yes.
We have 4 fights left, so... It's a pretty good possibility.
Granted, we have 4 fights, but we don't have 4 gods left. Remember, because Nimia and what's his name teamed up for their fight. So there's a blank spot that needs to be filled. And they mentioned somebody else that we can only assume is the Watcher on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we fight him? Who's taking up that 4th slot?
It's Azim.
Oh god. Could you imagine?
We fight ourselves.
I don't think they'll ever touch that. I think they've confirmed that they will never show what Azem looks like, because what Azem looks like is different depending on your personal interpretation. So...
But, I mean, it's your character, so...
Yeah. They can't recreate everybody's character. So... I want to say that Derek will probably be the final boss. And I hope Soken fucking brings it with the music.
Yeah, because those have been really good, too.
Those have been real good. Let's see. Anything else? Who's left? There's All Thick? Was it? Is that the one? No, Thaliak.
I don't even know.
It's Thaliak, Oshan, I assume the Watcher, and some other god that I'm forgetting. There's another one I'm forgetting. Oh well.
Chick. Water girl.
Water
Whatever her
girl.
name is. The one behind us in the statue.
That's Thaliak.
Is it?
Yes. Thaliak is the patron deity of Charlian. I'm gonna pull up a list of the gods. FF14, 12. Give me a list of gods. Why can't I just have a list of gods, please? Here we go. Limlane is who we're forgetting.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Thaliak, Limlane, Oshan, and assumingly the Wanderer. I mean, not the Wanderer, the Watcher, who is left. So we'll see what happens with that and how that story concludes, but it makes it sound the way Derek was talking that this is kind of their final test to see if humanity can persist on their own without them. And
they're gonna take our training wheels off.
Yeah, and say bye-bye. So that's what I assume what will happen, but we'll see.
So they can return to the live stream.
Yep.
And be with Vana.
Yep.
At last.
Well, moving on from that, we can talk about what we think's going to happen in 6.5 for the MSQ. I think it's all but confirmed that we're going back to the first.
Yeah.
What's going to happen there? I have no idea.
Well, we have... Keep in mind there's 2 parts of 6.5 MSQ.
Yeah.
So we'll have part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
So I think part 1 will be figuring out how to deal with Zeramis.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do.
Uh-huh.
And then part 2 will be actually fighting Zeramis.
So you think we're going to fight Zeramis before 7.0?
Yes.
And then that will be done.
The fight, or fighting Zeramis and dealing with Golbez will, I think, open up what we're going to have to deal with in 7.0.
Now, if I had to base a theory on what's going to happen in 6.5, it's what I think might happen in 7.0. I assume, because right now, more than trying to stop Zeramis and Golbez, we're also trying to somehow save Azdaia.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if we defeat Zeramis, supposedly that will return them to us.
Mm-hmm.
I think 7.0 is going to have us go to Mercidia to assemble the Dragon Avengers so that we can take on Zeramis. And that Zeramis would be the final boss of 7.0. But
or he'll just be the first trial.
Who knows? Endwalker messed me up so bad. with Zodiark, basically Satan of this universe, being the first trial.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, but so two completely different theories here. You think we're fighting Zeromus in 6.55. I don't think we'll get there till the end of 7.0. I think that's maybe we will fight him, but it won't be enough. So I mean,
and it could cause like a disruption,
yeah,
or cause like the actual portals that were open before to just open again and cause havoc.
Yeah,
because those portals are all over, or were all over at one point.
Before, I think that wraps up 6.5, but before we talk about FanFest, how do we feel about the Endwalker Relic series? What is your favorite Relic series out of all of them?
Stormblood.
How many finished Stormblood relics do you have?
Just because I don't have a lot finished doesn't mean it wasn't my favorite. Okay.
Well.
I mean, I have more Heaven's Ward relics completed than any other one. But Stormblood was my favorite actual content. I mean, I liked Bajja, but I'm more of the high fantasy type, not the techno
steampunk.
Yeah.
I loved Animos. Was that the first stage of the Stormblood one? I think everyone did. It was so much fun. I still remember just everyone running around the map.
Yes.
Just doing shit together. People being like, I died 50 miles away. Someone help me. And everyone's just like, I'm on my way. And just like your heroic music as people charge off to help them. And then it felt like the dev team was like, no. They're having too much fun. Poggos. And then the momentum stopped.
Just bloop.
Just dead. Just too difficult, too tedious.
Literally froze over.
Yeah, and just you had a good thing going and you messed it up. So I don't know. I'm of the mind that as long as it's fun, I don't give a shit how tedious it isn't. I don't believe getting a relic weapon should be difficult or tedious. It should be fun.
What?
Everything in this game should be fun.
Well, a relic should have a grind to it.
Yes, but there's no reason you can't enjoy the grind.
Yes. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be a grind for tomes.
Right. Oh, I'm not defending this.
Because, I mean, I understand that they brought back Deep Dungeon for Endwalker, which was great.
Oh god,
and they added Variant and Criterion dungeons, which They're a content that you do once, complete it, and then there's no real reason to go back to them.
Yeah.
Unless you do like the Savage and all that for the mountain stuff, but once you get all 12 routes, there's nothing really to do if you're like a casual player. So once that's done, it's done.
And like I only have remote interest in the Sylvan Subterrane because one of my OCs is what's the word I'm looking for? His ancestors come from Silda, so
yeah,
I was like, ooh, and then I found shit out, and then I was like, okay, I can stop doing this. But I haven't even touched Mount Rockon yet.
Yeah, I haven't had the chance either. 16, I was trying to finish it. So.
Yeah. And I forgot that they added a new deep dungeon in Endwalker. I finished it. I didn't do the extra hard floors because I didn't really feel a need to.
I mean, the mount's alright, but...
I didn't really like the look of the weapons, which also kept me from going back in. So, yeah. It was a fun, like, 2-3 hour experience that I just never touched again.
And I mean, it provides an alternative for leveling, which is great.
Yeah.
Because there's always room for leveling opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
the relics should not have been just tomes. I'm sorry.
I wonder how much of it is just there's been lots of people who are just like, before this, who are just like, we don't want your Eureka's, your Bosjas, and they're just like, fine, tomes. And I've got like 8 of them now because it's all it is. I don't spend the tomes on anything else. Might as well get them.
And I mean, it's good to have easier ways for people to obtain these.
Mm-hmm.
But relics are supposed to be fun and engaging to get.
Now, I'll throw out a possibility here. Lots of people have brought up the lack of sort of sustaining content that the Endwalker 6.x series has had.
Yes. I mean, they brought in good things.
Yeah.
It's just not... It's not brought in to where it has longevity.
When was Final Fantasy 16 announced?
2 years ago.
So...
It was after Endwalker came out.
Yeah. So, the main development chunk of 16, created by Creative Business Unit 3, took place alongside the 6.x series. I feel that is... You can't ignore that. That more than likely a lot of attention was put on 16, and I think maybe 14 suffered for it.
I mean, I would hope that they would have things in place for that, but I mean, it is one of the drier expansion runs that we've had.
Like, the story and everything's still strong and everything, but content, things that are going to make you come back every day, hasn't really been the strongest. So that is what it is. I think we've talked to death about Endwalker, and well, I guess if there's one thing we can talk about is there needs to be for the next Relic series, they need to look back on what worked for things like Eureka and Bosja and what didn't. So, because I loved Anemos. It was so much fun. And
Pyros and Hydatos had good things too.
Yeah, but like,
but
you know
the
how
initial Anemos run, and it was late in.
Yeah.
It got delayed, and it was later.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it
you know
was
how
still
like
fun.
You tell people you got to get through A Realm Reborn to get to Heavensward, and that'll be your main hurdle. getting to Pyros and whatever came after it, after Pagos, is like telling people, no, you gotta get through 1.0 to get to Heaven's Ward. So, it's a bit much to ask for people.
And I mean, they learned from it.
Yeah. So.
Because, I mean, look at how many different ways you could earn a relic for Shadowbringers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could do it by running old content. You could do it by doing fates.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it by actually doing Bajja.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 different ways to do your relic stuff. Besides your initial one. I mean, your initial quest you have to do, like, doing through Bajja or whatever. But your subsequent stuff is just... you chose how you wanted to earn it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want to do Bajja, you could just go do the other things. But there wasn't like a tome way to go.
Yeah.
You had to run content.
Yeah. So they need to find that sweet spot. It's out there. They can do it. But it'll be very interesting to see how, now that FF16 is done, we don't know if we're going to get DLC. I don't really want DLC, because what the fuck are they going to do? We talked about this.
Yeah.
But if 7.0, the 7.x series, has way more content than Endwalker did, that's going to be very telling.
Yeah.
So.
Unless they put CB3 on another project.
Yeah. Well, that's all we can talk about for Endwalker. So let's move on to FanFest. Less than a week.
It's 3 days.
It's 3 days till our trip. The conference doesn't start till Friday. Oh god.
There's some kind of time difference for us, so 3 days.
Sure.
Time dilation. Time mage confirmed.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, where do you think we're going in 7.0?
Marasidia.
Marasidia. There's a big question mark as to whether or not we're going anywhere else, I think. I feel like it's all but confirmed that we're going to Marasidia, but other places.
I think that this would be their opportunity, because I mean we've been to a small portion of Garlemald.
Uh-huh.
So I think this is the opportunity that they're gonna have to open up all of Garlemald.
So you think they're going to expand on Garlemald?
I mean, we're already working on getting them back developing as a nation, so I'm sure that's not just gonna stop.
Garlemald restoration?
To an extent.
Huh.
I don't think it would be anything like we did with Ishgard, but
I miss Ishgard restoration. That was fun.
I think I would love to see more of Garlemald, because we've only seen the one little place around the capital, and then I mean we saw the dungeon and stuff like that, but I mean if we're still going to be doing stuff with the Void, the original not Garleans, but the original settlers were the Reapers. So I mean it would kind of follow, we may have to learn more about Reaper lore. And then of course there's Graha's home.
Corvus.
Yeah. Have they shown that on the map yet?
I think if you go to Thavnir, you can look out in the distance and see it. It's supposed to be like right there. But I'm pulling up an Ilsebard map.
Because there's still a lot of cloud coverage.
Yeah, I could definitely see us exploring more of Ilsebard. But that might tie into something else if I can find a fucking map. One that explains what is actually here. Because I know the Golmore jungle is around there somewhere.
Damn, that's down by Dalmasca.
Yeah, which is part of Ilsebard, isn't it? Take me to it.
Yeah, cause... Hold on. When was that?
Thavnir is an island. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Corvus is part of the mainland to the north. It's a coastal area on the north part above Thavnir. To the east of Corvus is Bosja and Rabanastre.
Mm-hmm.
Then north of Corvus is Landis. Between Landis and Garlemald is Nalmask. These are places I haven't heard of. But I'm pretty sure the Golmore jungle is down near Rabanastre. Because, obviously. And that's where the Vana are from? Can't remember which tribe belongs to which part. Bringing up another map here.
I mean, there's still stuff above Aldenard in the Northern Empty that we haven't been to.
And then there's the entirety of the New World.
Yeah. There's this place called Airslaint and Najin.
But so
Isle of Yorn.
I think we agree it's all but confirmed that Mericidia is going to be there.
Yeah.
As for anywhere else, you're thinking more areas around Garlemald.
Well, I mean, in Ilsebard.
In Ilsebard.
Corvos is still covered up.
Mm-hmm.
The Anchorite at Corvos. And then you have, right above Dalmasca, you've got the Burn, the Knowing Sea, the Unpromised, the Dalvalin Grath.
I think, because we can't ignore what Aaronville said, that he's going to some sort of homecoming, and after that is when we saw the envelope. So I think it's safe to assume that the envelope and Aaronville are connected. So that's what makes me think we would go to the Golmore Jungle, assuming that's the tribe he's part of.
Yeah.
If not, like we talked about before, the sigils on the envelope look vaguely Mesoamerican, which also hints at the possibility of going to the New World.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say. I really want to go to the New World, but I'm also very nervous that the indigenous people there will have British accents.
And it is the Vana.
The Vana.
More jungle.
Right. The Vina are in some mountain range. I don't remember what that is.
It's Katay. It's right above Damascus.
Okay, so they're close together. So it would be I would really love to go to Corvos and see the G tribe, but who knows if we'll ever actually get to go there. It'd be nice. Alright, moving on from that. What scions are coming with us?
Well, Graha, obviously.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's confirmed that Urianger and Thancred are coming.
And Graha.
Graha hasn't been in the MSQ for a hot minute.
That's why he's coming. We can't just recruit him and then be like, no, we don't need you no more.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It really just depends on what happens during 6.5.
Yeah, is 6.5 going to be like Avengers Reassemble and we get all the Scions back together?
Or does something dastardly happen?
Because Alphino and Alze seem very preoccupied with everything going on in Garlemald. So it would take something drastic to pull them away from that. But hopefully Y'shtola...
Yeah. Because of her interest in traveling to the different shards.
Mm-hmm. I feel like 8.0 is when we're going to a new shard. Because that's what all this feels like we're building up to. I would like some new Scions. I want some new characters. If not entirely new characters, people that we know who can join. Fuck it, put Aaronville on there. I want more of him. I would love to have Lise back. It would nice for her be. It would be nice for her to get some good development. I mean, now that the war is over, seemingly.
I mean, I still think she's too tied up in trying to get All Amigo going.
I don't have much stake in it. I would just say it'd be nice. Do any Scions change jobs?
I think Alize will change to the new job.
That is a bold claim. Because we've talked about this before. And how it feels like Red Mage was made for Alize. And how if she were to switch to anything that would feel appropriate, it would be Monk. So...
Well, we already have a Monk.
Well, not anymore. She's not on the team.
We already have a monk.
Oh, well.
She's the only one that has not had a job change.
Well,
Out of all
since
the
Stormblood.
Scions.
She used to be in Academician, like Alphino. She's kind of due for one. It's been a while, but it's hard to see her being really anything else.
It's either her getting a job or Kryl becoming more of a mainstay and her being the new job.
Yeah. I could see Y'shtola getting a new job.
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Oh?
Nah.
I
She just had a job change in Shadowbringers. Her, Oriange, and Thancred all had job changes.
Yes, but Y'shtola went from using a staff to using a staff. So...
She went from a conjurer to a black mage.
They don't even call her a black mage. What do they call her again?
Mystic or something.
I want to say it was witch something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it might be something witch, but it's still black mage.
Yeah. Either way, I think Thancred and Urianger are going to stay that way for a while. Alphino just got a new job.
Yeah. He's not getting nothing.
And
it fits him, so...
Yeah. Much like how Red Mage was made for Alizé, I think Sage was made for Alphino.
Yeah.
I don't think they would give a new job to Graha.
No, because he's an all-rounder, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they would.
Because I think they would rather him be able to fill whatever slot. We have to have at least one.
Yeah.
That can fill every slot.
Yeah. So, if anybody changes, it might be Alizé.
I mean, that's to even say that we get somebody that, like a Scion that changes jobs, and that's the new job.
Yeah.
It could just be some job that they introduce, or we go somewhere like Mericidia, and that's how the job gets introduced or something.
This will lead us into the next question, though, which is a big one. What will be Meteor's canon job? What's he going to be in the trailer?
It's difficult.
Do you think it'll be a new job or an old job?
Well, I mean, they haven't done Meteor as the new job.
Since Stormblood.
Except Samurai.
Yeah. That's a tricky thing, because if they do him as a new job, there's no way they couldn't heavily hint at what it is in the teaser that we're going to see at FanFest, and I don't think they're going to tell us what any of the new jobs are at NA FanFest.
No, we normally don't get that.
We will get a Yoshi P shirt that hints at it.
That's like, you have to know extensive knowledge on everything.
Yeah.
To figure out and decode.
People have figured it out each time, though. So, if we're going with the assumption that he will be an old job, I think it will be something different from a tank. He has been a tank for 2 expansions in a row.
It's gonna be a summoner.
A lot of people are throwing out summoner as a possibility, which would be interesting. Now, me thinking about marketing, how do you go from having your poster boy being cool guy with big sword to cool guy with sword and shield to cool guy with book?
Make the book extra fancy?
I don't know. It would be a very hard thing to accomplish. Be like, this is the new
he's
thing.
already been warrior.
And warrior is cool guy with axe.
Except gunbreaker.
Yeah. I think that if Meteor was to be a caster, it would probably be Black Mage. Because that's the coolest one you can do. It needs to be cool for marketing purposes.
You can be a cool summoner. It just depends on your book.
That's a hard sell.
My glam is cool.
Okay. Now tell that to all the other millions of people that Square Enix wants to play this game. My brother, who has absolutely no interest in Final Fantasy XIV, looked at the Shadowbringers trailer and went, wow, that's cool. So they would have to show Meteor doing some crazy shit as a summoner in the trailer.
You become one with Bahamut. You get wings.
So they
Your nail Deus Darnus.
You go semi-prime from 16.
Yes.
Semi-priming. Oh god. It could be done. It could be done. If that's what like the level 100 summoner stuff is just embodying it. I could see that happening. So summoner could be it. I was thinking maybe it might be machinist as well. Maybe some sort of fizz ranged.
Definitely won't be dancer.
Definitely. Listen, man, I'd pay good money to see Meteor Final Fantasy in a dancer getup, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Nah.
What? Here's a challenging question. Meteor has never been a healer. What healer would he be? If they said we need to make him a healer, which one? I think you can take Scholar and just firmly take it out of the conversation. Because that is less cool summoner.
Yeah.
So, really your choices are...
Sage, but...
Yeah, but that's Alphino's thing.
I know, I'm just saying.
So your choices are either White Mage or
Astrologian.
Or Astrologian.
And Orion J's already Astrologian, so...
Yeah. So White Mage. So I don't think Meteor's going to be a healer for quite some time.
I think they would have to introduce some wicked cool healer.
I had an idea that we will talk about later when we get to job speculations. Next important question. Are we going to get a time skip? Yes or no?
It's inevitable at this point.
Is it? Because there's a part in the back of my head that thinks that Alphino and Alize are never going to grow up.
They have to. You can't just keep saying, oh, these events are taking place like a week apart from each other.
I will never forget how hard I laughed playing through the Hildebrand quest, where Nashi was like, oh my god, Warrior of Light, it's been so long since I've seen you, but surely less than a year. I feel like it's something that needs to happen. I'm just worried it won't. There's so many things that just need time to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid that the only way we will ever get some sort of time skip is if we get Final Fantasy XIV 2.
Or if something happens that is so devastating to the source that causes, like, I mean, not saying like a server shutdown, you know, but
Yeah.
like how they did World of Warcraft Cataclysm,
Like,
where it changed.
it would be so easy to introduce into the next patch, because we're going back to the first in the MSQ. And when you first go to the first, the Exarch tells you, well, normally there's this huge time displacement, but we're reaching an area of equilibrium between the two timelines. Which always told me that someday those two timelines are going to split again, and that time dilation is going to come back. So, if we could, like, go to the first in 6.5, and suddenly it's been 10 years for them, that would be amazing. And, like,
I don't think they would do that, though.
But think about, like, see, like, older Reen as a gunbreaker doing shit.
You're talking about on the first. Okay.
Yeah, on the first. Just reintroduce reintroduce the time displacement. So when we go there, it's been 10 years since the last time they saw us. Yeah. Which means that every second that ticks while we're on the first, time is progressing on the source. Yeah. Not quite 10 years, but give me 5. Give me 5 years. That's all I need.
It doesn't even have to be 5. It could be 2 or 3, and that's enough to warrant a growth spurt.
Yeah. But, damn. I say 5 because then, no matter which way you split it, Alphino and Alize would be 21, and I want to see drunk Alphino.
Well, I mean, he can drink now.
He could.
I'm sure he does.
I don't know. I don't think that boy can hold his liquor. Well, that's neither here nor there. So we both agree we want time to move. Just, get along now. Get up on in now. Alright, now comes job speculation. How many jobs? How many new jobs?
If it's not 2 with a limited job, I think it'll be 1 with a limited job.
A lot of people are thinking 1. It wouldn't surprise me if it was 1. Given, if there's any correlation between the development of 16 and the lack of content in 14, it would not surprise me if that also means a lack of time developing new jobs. So...
And you have to have at least 1 new job, because that's what sells expansions.
Yeah. So this could very well be the expansion where you only get 1 going forward.
And there's definitely speculation that it's going to be a caster.
There's a lot of speculation going around that it's a caster. I
If
remember...
not caster, fizz ranged. But definitely a DPS.
Now, I'm going to put my 2 cents in. I remember why they decided to create Reaper. Do you remember why?
No.
Because they said, you know, all these jobs and whatnot, Dragoon is the only thing using maiming gear. We really need something else that uses maiming gear.
Yeah.
What else uses scouting gear?
It's just ninja.
It's just ninja. So if you apply that logic, it would make sense for them to also take a look at scouting gear and what they could do for that. I don't think they'd put a caster on scouting gear. Maybe they put a fizz range on scouting gear, but why wouldn't you put it on fizz range gear of aiming gear? So it makes sense to me that they would make some sort of other melee aspected job.
And it could be 2 this time around.
Could be. I would
mean,
actually be very shocked if we get more than 1 job.
I just want to say that it's more than likely 2 this time around.
Mm.
And that next expansion, it will probably end up being 1. And maybe a limited job.
Maybe. Do you think we'll get a new limited job this time around?
I hope so. Only because if they don't give us Beastmaster as a regular job, then we could get it as a limited job.
Maybe.
Because Yoshi P has commented on it potentially being a limited job, that and Puppet Master.
Yeah.
Which they could do Puppet Master as the scouting gear.
See, are Puppet Master and Beastmaster sort of primarily known from 11?
Yeah.
Because I'm not familiar with those at all.
And I think Tactics.
Yeah, so I haven't played 11 or Tactics, so I don't really know what would go into making a job for those, just besides the idea that I had. But let's talk about possible jobs. We talked about this briefly the other day, and we both mentioned an FF7 style soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And I am of the opinion that we really don't need to create a new weapon for the sake of a new job. I would be perfectly fine with reusing certain weapons for different jobs. Think about it. That's a whole lot of glamour options that you get.
But it's also stuff that we've already had.
I don't care.
I care.
What are they going to do? I still can't tell you what the fuck a Newlith is. So, Sage is just, that's the job that uses Gundam funnels to me. There's only so many different kinds of weapons out there. So, and we are scraping against the bottom of the barrel. So FF7 style soldier. There's things that people have mentioned in the past, such as Time Mage, which is... They've mentioned things that are kinda already other jobs in 14, like Time Mage is kinda like Astrologian. Geomancer is kinda like White Mage.
It's just a different culture.
Yeah.
But pretty much the same thing.
And people have brought up the idea of like a Viking style class that uses 2 hand axes. But I think that's cool. That'd be cool, but how do you differentiate it from Warrior? Warrior is already very Viking-like, especially in its aesthetic. Of course, there's Beastmaster. If that were to become a job, a full-fledged job, after playing FF16, I think Beastmaster could be you and a dog. Where you are like Clive and your dog is like Torgal, and he's part of your kit. It would be another pet class.
You could change it.
Yeah.
To where it had, like, it'll probably start at 70.
Mm-hmm.
Or no.
80.
80. So, 80 you have your starting lineup, whatever your beginner pet would be.
Mm-hmm.
90 you get a different kind of pet. And then 100 you get a better pet. Like with Summoner you have the Garuda, Titan, Ifrit kind of thing. I don't think it needs to be one specific one.
Whatever it could be, I couldn't really say, but I think it's something we'd both be okay with having.
Yeah.
I think if there's any job left that a lot of people want to see in 14, it's probably Beastmaster. It's the one that gets brought up the most. More so than Puppet Master, I think.
And it kind of brings in another weapon type of whips.
I have heard of that, of whips, so... We'll see. So, the rest of the jobs I have here on the list are... There's some that have sort of been in previous games, and then there's some that I would like to see, and then there's some that's just bullshit that I came up with that'll never happen in a million years. But hey, it's a cool idea. We'll start off with what I'm just going to call Gunslinger, which is whatever the fuck Merlweb has. The dual pistol sort of thing.
It's like a Corsair job.
Corsair.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that was in 11 as well.
I think Corsair was also something different. That was like a pirate sort of thing with like a pistol and a cutlass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's another option I have here, but I put that down as Cavalier. I may have been thinking of Corsair and got that mixed up. So those are two possibilities. Gunslinger, I'm surprised, isn't in the game yet, despite the fact that its guild has always been there in Leminsa. It's right there with the Marauders Guild. So it'll be in the game someday, I'm sure. 7.0? Don't know. What else? Moving on to something I think they could add based on the fact that it's not really a sort of weapon that we have yet, is a Harry Potter style wizard with a wand. We technically have wands, but they're like tree branches with leaves on them. And we have cudgels. But
I don't think that would... Nah. That's one I'd be like, mm-mm. Like, mm-mm.
or something that would use a wand, I don't know. What else do we have here?
And I know whenever Dancer was being thrown around for Shadowbringers, there was the not apothecarian, but God, what was it called? The arithmetician or something.
Oof.
Where well, it's one of them where you mix potions and stuff, and it heals or buffs or debuffs and stuff like that.
Now, I have that on this list. I call it Chirurgeon, just because Chirurgeon is something that is mentioned in the game. Chirurgeons are just surgeons, but they could make it into a job that involves mixing components and potions to create different things. I think that would be a really cool, interesting sort of idea. Would they add another healer right after Sage? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be a healer.
I don't see it being anything else.
Like, if you did it as Chirurgeon, yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you... Well, you didn't play 10 that much, did you?
No.
Riku, she mixes things and it makes, like, bombs and, like, magical explosives and stuff. So that's also kind of out there too. And it's also a class in Final Fantasy Tactics. Let me see what it's called.
There, when it comes to Final Fantasy jobs, the only ones that are left that are not on 14 are like the really obscure sort of tactics ones. Chemist would be a good name, I suppose.
That's what it's called.
But moving on from that, we're sort of getting into the crazy ones. Let's start with least crazy to most crazy. I said that I had an idea for, like, a quote cool healer. Now, back before Reaper was a thing, I've always wanted a job that used a scythe, like, since I started playing. And of course, we all thought, well, job with scythe would be Necromancer. But then Square Enix is like, we don't like that. But what I envisioned Necromancer to be was a healer that, like, sort of involved, like, back alley cheap ways of healing, like discount healing, you know? So, like, using leeches and stuff like that was what I thought it was going to be like. And, like, maybe there was some sort of mechanic that involved, like, oh, did your character die? No, they didn't. And it could involve, like, an attack of that would also be a res. So there was lots of things, but then Reaper came out and then that couldn't happen. So I'm like, well, what can they do now? For a cool, edgy healer. I think healers need an edgy option. So I thought maybe Witch Doctor? Sort of like a voodoo sort of thing. Yeah. And their weapon could be dolls. Like voodoo dolls. Doesn't what's-her-name from FF10 use dolls? Like plushies? Voodoo. Yeah. I was thinking something like that.
She's a black mage.
I'm just saying, it's not something that is completely out of the realm of Final Fantasy. So, that's my idea for an edgy healer, which is something they need to add to the game one day. Next up is Blue Mage for real. Which is just... We go to the new world where blue magic is from, and they teach us the real job. Except it's not called Blue Mage, it's called something else. Which will be like Blue Mage, but it's a job that we can actually use.
That'd be interesting.
So that way, you know, you still keep all your Blue Mage side content, but if you want something that's similar to Blue Mage but a real job, you have that option as well. Okay. Which of these is the most crazy? That's the most crazy one. Then the first... this one is never happening in a million... The rest of these are never happening in a million years. The first all-rounder job that can be any role.
Nope.
And it's Ascian.
Nope.
They turn Ascian into a job. And your weapon is the mask.
That won't happen.
Speaking of masks, you know, from my novel, I love the idea of a certain masked group using magic. So, Luchador, and they are a grappling sort of DPS, or tank even, who knows. And their weapon is their masks. And then finally, the one that will definitely never, ever happen, ever, is Keyblade Wielder.
Yeah, that won't happen.
It's fun to think about, because we'll never get a decent Kingdom Hearts MMO, so it would be nice to have Keyblades in 14. But that's all I've got for jobs. Anything you'd like to add?
Nah, I don't think so.
I think...
I mean, I saw some of them that were in tactics, which sound really interesting, but I don't think they would happen.
Like what?
I mean, you have like Onion Knight.
Onion Knight
is one of them. You have like a Mystic, which is basically White Mage. You have Time Mage. Then you have like the Calculator and Arithmetician, like we talked about, which is just like Time Mage, White Mage, Wizard, Black Mage, all in one.
Yeah. Omni Mage.
Then you have like a Mime, which is a bunch of different ones in one. And then you come down to like special ones where it's special characters that are named these. And these are pretty interesting, like Sky Seer, Nether Seer. It's like a Hell Knight and then Nether Seer. Divine Knight, Templar, Dragonkin. Then they have a soldier class. Sky Pirate, Game Hunter. Which, I mean, they all sound interesting. But it would be pretty cool to see them implement like the original Dark Knight, where their abilities cost HP for the sake of damage. But I don't think it would fit in this type of game.
Yeah.
The way that mechanics are built and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
It would just be interesting.
Yeah.
To have something like that.
What do you think is more likely at this point? That they announce a new job and it's something we've heard of, as opposed to getting something like Sage and it's just a new job completely out of the ether that we never would have expected in a million years?
I mean, I think it will be something familiar, but they'll try to make it their own, like they did with Sage.
I guess the better question
Sage is a job, and they were. I mean, it was more of a. I think back in like Final Fantasy 1 and all those, I think that's when Sage, I can't remember, but it was like the higher pinnacle job of magic wielding. I don't think it was necessarily tied to white or black magic. I think it was both.
It'll be interesting to see. I guess the better question would be, when we find out what the new job is, will we know what the fuck the weapon is? Because with Sage, they're like, these are the weapons, and we're still like, what is that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be... At least one of them is going to be straightforward, I'm sure. And then one is going to be where they try to make it their own. They take, like, an idea of one that's been around, and then they make it their own.
Yeah. Well, I think that can conclude the job discussion. Abilities. What abilities do you want for old jobs in 7.0?
Well, Dragoon has to have a Nidhogg phase. There's no way
you mean a
we
Nidhogg
don't get that
transformation?
Yeah, Nidhogg face, yeah. An Estinian Nidhogg transformation. But we're, instead of Nidhogg, it's Midgard Stormer.
Hopefully. It'd be nice. It feels like they've been hinting at it since Stormblood.
I mean, where else do you go with Dragoon?
Yeah.
Give it another stabby stab? Really? I mean, you already have Gerskogel, then, what is it, Pillar Drive or whatever it's called? I don't remember.
I don't know abilities by name. I know colors of buttons that I press.
Stardiver.
Stardiver, yeah.
And then we already have Mirage Dive, so, I mean, we have to have, like, you go into Stardiver, and once it goes off, you transform, and you get Dragoon wings, I mean, Nidhogg wings, or Midgard Stormer wings, whatever.
Reaper gave me a lot of hope for that. The fact that we straight up get a transformation.
Yeah, and it changes your entire character model.
Yeah. So, hopefully, if it doesn't happen here, it's never going to happen for Dragoon. But, we talked about Summoner maybe embodying their summons. Sort of like semi-priming for FF16.
I mean, if not Garuda Ifrit Titan, then Phoenix and Bahamut.
Yeah. Do we think that they'd ever add another summon to that?
I don't know. I think that would be a bit much.
We have so many already now. I can't see them adding a third big summon. So you go through Bahamut, Phoenix, new summon. It's like a 6-minute rotation.
No, they have to keep the 2-minute meta.
Yeah.
So I think, if anything, the actual abilities for Bahamut and Phoenix would change up, and you would have, and your physical appearance would change based on which one you had summoned at the time. Like, you either get Bahamut wings or Phoenix wings, and your abilities that you use are, like, upgraded.
Yeah. That would be really cool. Get on it, Square Enix. What else is there? What would they do for Dark Knight? Cause like being able to summon Frey was such 2 Freys. Just every couple of expansion add another Frey. Oh man.
I mean, once 14 expansions come out, you have all your shards of Azim right there.
I'm trying to think if there's any one class that's like, I really want this one thing to happen. So, we've talked about it for Dragoon and Summoner. What else needs something cool? Healers need more cool shit, that's for certain. Samurai. What could they do for Samurai that they haven't done already? It's hard.
I don't know. I don't know what they could add with a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, with ninja, I'm sure they'll add more ninjutsu.
I wish shadow clones were more of a thing with ninjas.
As I say, they could make it where, I don't know what it's called in Naruto, but you know, you get your, like, God, what are they called?
Shadow clones?
No. Like, Naruto turns into the fox thing.
Oh, I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called. But not something that dramatic, you know?
Some more summons.
Kinda.
Hmm.
Because, you know, you have the frog
Yeah.
that you do. And actually, I think that's the only one that's an actual thing that you conjure, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the super sharp paper. It just reminds me of the paper from Spirited Away, which you probably don't know anything about.
Nope.
Because you haven't watched it.
Nope.
You're not a Studio Ghibli kid.
Nope.
Horrible.
Let's see. Ninja. Red Mage always gets cool new shit.
Yeah, there's plenty that they could do for Red Mage. I just don't know what it could be.
Fucking.
I didn't expect the frickin' the flower petal frickin' special beam cannon.
I have yet to get tired of that animation.
It's great.
It is so fucking cool. And a part of me goes every time I get to do it. It's I think it's the most satisfying ability in the game. But yeah. Fucking if we hit level 100 on Black Mage and we still do not cast Ultima, I swear to God, there is going to be no other job in this game that will be able to use Ultima. Ultima needs to be a Black Mage thing.
Yes, but the way that particular spell is set up in 14 is not something that your everyday Black Mage is going to be able to know.
And we're not everyday Black Mages.
Because you have to have the Heart of Sabik.
Well, we know where it is now.
That doesn't mean we can just go and carry it around like, ha, Ultima, ha.
I don't care. They can invent a lore reason. Just, that's the one thing I want for Black Mage. What the fuck else are they going to do for Black Mage?
Meteor.
That's the LB. So
no, that's Starfall.
I do think it could be cool if lots of jobs start to take things from their LB to incorporate into their kit. So if Black Mage got more meteor aspected attacks, that would be cool.
I mean, you have Comet.
Little meteors, which is LB2.
So, I don't know. I mean, it'd be better than getting some other kind of flare.
Yes.
We don't need more flares.
What if I'm not saying this is something they should add. I think it's a cool thought, though. If every job sort of got a mini LB.
They talked about it.
Or a mini LB or a personalized LB that everyone can build.
They talked about that, but they said that they probably would never implement something like that.
While we're on the subject of LBs, we're hitting level 100. Do we finally get LB4?
Nah.
It is a thing that exists.
Yeah, just because frickin' Elidibus did LB4 doesn't mean that we will get to.
Someday.
He was an Asian. An unsundered. We're not.
And the requirements to use LB4 is that it takes up all 3 alliances LB3. You need 3 LB3s to do an LB4.
That never happened.
It would never happen. Which means that if it ever happened, it'd be real cool. Everyone's going to be fighting to be the first one to do it.
It's like everybody's looking. Boom!
Do it now!
I press the button.
And Reaper's gonna have the coolest sounding one. Red Mage, the level 90 Red Mage flower move is the coolest looking ability, and Reaper LB3 is the coolest sounding ability.
And, Dragoon has, like, the weirdest sounding one that makes no sense.
I don't remember the sound of it.
No, not the LB, but the ability. It's, whenever you're going through your combo, Chaotic Spring, it sounds like,
Warp, warp.
the... kind of like, the older cartoons, like the flower animations and stuff. And I'm like, why is this even in here? It makes no sense for this particular sound effect to go off when I'm doing this.
Oh well, it's there. I have stated in the past that I want Dragoon to have Ankh-Morn.
Yeah, I could see them going with something.
Our
like
power
that,
comes directly from the first brood, so... And I've said it should be like a Zoltan-style jump. A Kingdom Hearts 2 style jump, where you can build them up. You can build up like a stack of 4, or however many, and make it a real Ankh-Morn that hits multiple times.
But then you're animation locked. And they're trying to get away from animation locked abilities.
I don't think they would put an animation lock on it.
It'd have to.
Nope.
If it's doing multiple attacks.
Well, I was thinking, like, you build up a stack of it, right? And then you can weave it like it's like an off-global cooldown.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So, like, you do your GCD, Ankh-Morn, GCD, Ankh-Morn, GCD, Ankh-Morn.
Okay. You're not talking about you build it up and then you use it and it does 4 in a row.
Oh god, no.
Okay.
I think we said anything off the top of our heads we would want.
I just don't see anything. I can't picture anything for... Oh, excuse me. Paladin.
Roxas shit. Think back to Kingdom Hearts 2 Roxas fight. Light just beams everywhere. Skating around on ribbons of light. Yeah. That's what I thought we were going to get, but now we got giant light swords, which I am okay with.
Yeah.
Let's see. What changes do we want for 7.0? Quality of life, anything sort of like that. I can tell you one that I want, that I've always wanted.
To be able to dye your eye color without changing with a Fantasia?
That'd be nice, but there's one more pressing than that.
Oh, I thought that's what you were going with because you've mentioned it so many times.
The one that I feel is needed is when you take an item and you put it in the glamour dresser, it should no longer be restricted to a certain class.
Yeah.
That would free up so much space in the glamour dresser. And the idea that a tank has to look like a tank, a healer has to look like a healer, so on and so forth, has been shattered so many times. The fact that you can have a naked tank should just get rid of that conversation altogether. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to use that gear that we are no longer using for stats purely for glamour. Okay.
Hold on.
Well, he takes care of that. Was there anything else? Yeah, that's the main thing I want, is just glamour. Just let me use things that I already have on everything else. There are many instances where I have like 7 different versions of an item that look identical to other items in my glamour dresser, but one's for tank, one's for maiming, one's for scouting, one's for aiming, so on and so forth. So that would be the biggest quality of life improvement I think they could and should do. Besides that, there's the one that Kevin mentioned of being able to change our eye color without having to use a Fantasia. I think it's crazy we have to use a Fantasia to change our eye color. What other quality of life improvements could there be? Those two are so important to me. Of course, glamour being the most important thing. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Oh, fucking take active time lore directly out of Final Fantasy 16 and drop that into FF14. I would love to have a lore button. And it's just a button that brings up a little window on the screen. Doesn't have to take up the whole screen like in 16. Doesn't have to freeze time. But just a nice little bit of context that you can add to everything. We will now wait for Kevin to return.
Sorry about that.
The only other thing I brought up that they could add is copy and paste active time lore from 16 into 14.
Yeah.
You press a lore button. It doesn't have to take up the entire screen like in 16. It can just be a window. And you can select whatever option you want for more context on certain things.
I mean, we already have something like that. The unending codex.
Yeah, but like
it just doesn't pop up. It just adds stuff to it every now and then.
Does that add shit for like locations? Because I'm thinking like you arrive at a location
yes.
on a map, and then you can press the lore button and it'll give you the lore on this location.
It's got the first Alpha No, Alize, Garlean Empire, Magitech, Cerulean.
No, I'm talking about like buildings, not entire continents and countries.
No, I don't think it does that.
That's what I want. Anyway, any sort of addition you would want to see or quality of life improvement?
It'll never happen, but I want near weapons.
Yeah, that's... Although, for some reason, they just uploaded a trailer for Dark Apocalypse onto the main FF14 channel. So...
I mean, I doubt we get anything new, near related, but...
I don't know. Anything else?
Oh, we're also getting female Hrothgar.
We should.
Yeah. It's definitely happening in 7.0.
Yeah.
There's no way they
Whether or not they will touch on it in a FanFest, I think, is a bigger question.
I think they will.
Mm-hmm.
Because we really should have gotten it at 6.0. Along with Male Vieira. And then we've seen nothing in 2 years.
Do Vieira and Hrothgar get hats in 7.0.
We better. If they're doing the frickin' graphical update, there's no excuse anymore.
Just have the ears clip through the hat. No one cares.
No one cares. They do that with Mikote.
They don't anymore. They just lose their ears.
I'd be fine with that. I mean, I want to wear my hats. This isn't TF2, but still.
Might as well be. Glamour was the most important thing in TF2.
You know, I had a Facebook memory the other day, and it was one of your TF2 videos.
Oh, God.
Your spy one.
Oh, man. Relics from an ancient past.
Yeah, where you were hiding out and just taking all the team out with your watch that hid you.
Yeah. Anything else you're hoping to hear from FanFest? Any details on anything specific? I'm hoping we hear more about the graphical update.
I mean, that's probably definite.
Maybe.
Because we don't get a lot of reveals. We get a lot of overall.
Yeah.
So I think graphical update fits in that overall. That's not a reveal, you know. But if I'm thinking back, we did get a tease for the 8-man.
Hmm.
So hopefully we get something with that.
Uh-huh.
I do not want it to be either the 24-man or the 8-man. I do not want it to be a crossover.
Okay. So no Kingdom Hearts 8-man or 24-man.
No. I want it to be, and Mr. Happy said it best, I want it to enhance the story of 14.
Mm-hmm.
Not be something that's there that may enhance the story for that particular like game or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nier did, but then have no bearing on 14.
Yeah.
No expansion of lore for 14. Now what that means, I don't know. I don't know what we could do for a raid going forward. I mean, we've already done stuff where we dealt with Midgardsormr and stuff in Omega. But I mean, if we are going to Marasidia, it could open up stuff there. Like we go through the Brood or something. Or they could have a culture there that introduces us to different things. Because, I mean, they could be doing primal summoning over there and icon summoning, and we don't know nothing about it.
What else? I was going to say something, and then I lost the thought. Oh, yeah, I was just going to say that if there's anything that is absolutely unpredictable, it is what the new raid series would be for either the 8-man or the 24-man. Next question. What old Final Fantasy game is 7.0 going to be based off of?
I don't think it necessarily will be based off of like a theme or something from an old Final Fantasy game.
You think we're done with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I can agree with that. Although, because like Endwalker had a lot of things from whatever one it was, 5, I think.
4.
So that's mainly what I was saying. Yeah. So, I definitely wouldn't mind if we sort of move away from that sort of thing. So, with that said, who knows what the fuck the trial series is going to be?
Yeah.
Besides the FF16 crossover, is there any crossover you would want to see? If it's,
I'm sure we won't.
Just a crossover event, not a raid series.
I mean, I would like for them to bring back, like, the lightning one for people that missed it.
Yeah, I forget that was a thing.
The Yokai Watch, I'm pretty sure, is never coming back, so we can just forget about that. I mean, I would like for them to, like, in the lull period, bring back some of the old events, just so people that weren't playing 10 years ago can get them without having to buy them off the mock station.
Well, every now and then they're gonna bring back the 15 event and stuff like that. But I'm talking new crossovers.
I mean, depending on if we go and learn more about Dalmasca, I mean, they could do a tactics kind of crossover thing. But I mean, we already really got that with the 24-man, so...
Yeah.
Blitzball.
God damn it. Alright, moving on. We're getting to the end of the list here. Additional content you would like to see in 7.0. Would you like to see a new deep dungeon or anything along those lines?
Blitzball.
Oh my god. It wasn't even fun in the game it came from.
It was.
It's subjective.
Did you play it?
Yes.
You probably weren't good at it, were you?
Oh, I see. Skill issue.
I wasn't good at it either. But, one thing that I would like... I mean, not necessarily, like, the content part, but one thing I would like to explore a little bit more is the live stream. That aspect of everything, and how, I mean, Endwalker has been about, oh, well, the Ascians, everybody returns to the live stream, everybody returns to the Ethereal Sea. Kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say exactly how Final Fantasy X does theirs, because it was kind of a little wonky with the way they did it, but it'd be interesting to have something similar, because they had the far plane, and you could go and you could actually see, and, like, not necessarily, they wouldn't be able to talk back, but you could see them and stuff. Because I just want Hythlodaeus to come back in some form.
It was heavily implied that Elidibus reincarnated at the end of Pandemonium.
Yes. The whole Kingdom Hearts.
I think Emmett and Hythlodaeus, it was kind of just implied that they're going to go to sleep for a bit. So, whether or not they're still hanging around in the Ethereal Sea, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think that they're gone, but I would like for them, well, in particular Hythlodaeus, well, I guess both, to show up again, not just be gone forever. I want them to come back in some way, but it doesn't have to be like this major story beat, you know. I just don't want them to be gone.
That would be
forever.
tricky to do. That would be tricky to do.
Like, there is no Vana coming back or Heidelin coming back at all.
Well, she's not even in the Ethereal Sea. She is gone.
Yeah. She's just gone.
Like, erased from existence. Gone.
But as far as we understand, they return to the ethereal sea. They could potentially be seen and come back again.
I'll tell you something I want to touch on at some point in the future. What the fuck are the rest of the Sundered Asians doing right now?
Well, I've seen some lore videos on that, and a lot of them are just... Well, a lot of them are gone. And then there's only a few left that we didn't really learn much else about.
Yeah, so what are they doing?
To the side.
Are they just like, well...
I guess
I'm gonna go fishing.
I think that they're just not relevant anymore.
I can't see them just leaving that a loose thread forever.
Because, Gaius killed some of them.
Some of them.
But he didn't, kill them.
Yeah.
Their ether just returned, or just dissipated, and they're able to be reincarnated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nobody here anymore to give them the soul crystals that have their memories.
Right.
So, there's no way for them to get those memories back anymore. So they're null and void on that premise alone.
So any Sundered Asians still left around are ones that just haven't been killed yet.
If any.
If any. But, I think it's just too much of a big if that, they're all gone. I'm not saying they come back as villains again. Just an NPC somewhere down the line that we interact with in some way, shape, or form. Maybe more like a Gaia situation?
Yeah.
Also, I think, just thinking about it now, I think it'd be pretty cool if maybe we could bring people back with us from the first. If we can go there, that means we can bring people back.
Well, not necessarily.
I say it, that's what that means.
We're different.
Nope.
We're different.
Well, Y'shtola's gonna figure out a way to bridge the gap. So, if we can bring other people to the first, vice versa. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if we could make that bridge like we did with the 13th, yes.
Yeah.
But that's only because it's so close.
Well, so is the first.
Well, not...
Equidistant. 13 in the first. And are we ever gonna get Unakalhai and Silva involved in the MSQ?
If we don't finish up the Zeramis thing, because I forgot about Unakalhai. If we don't finish up the Zeramis thing in 6.5, then I'm pretty sure that they will play an important role in 7.0.
And they're just gonna have to do, would they make... what would they make required content for that? Because it used to be, hey, you didn't do the Crystal Tower series? Oh, well, you don't get special cutscenes with Graha. But then they made that mandatory.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd make role quests mandatory, where you have to finish all the role quests for all the different jobs, so that you can see all that with Unakalhai and Silva.
I'm sure they would do some kind of lore thing in there.
I could see them making the Warring Triad mandatory.
Yeah, Warring Triad, definitely. Because that's where you're introduced to Unokai.
Yeah. But if you don't do the, like, the role quest stuff, then, oh well, you'll miss out on that lore, and Unokai got to the first somehow. Without you. But, like, the fact that we're going through the void right now, and we can go up to them for optional dialogue, and that's all we get from them, is crazy to me. But we'll see. I don't think there's anything else really to talk about. Yeah, that's kind of it. We've talked about our hopes, our dreams, all the things we will not find out at North American FanFest.
We'll find out something.
Something. At the very least, we should know where we're going, hopefully.
But to know that, you'll have to know where you've been.
Shut the fuck up. Alright, well, it is... We are 12 minutes past due. So not too bad. We got through everything.
Did we, though?
As much as we could. I guess I could say... I'm hoping if we get a hard confirm as to where we're going for 7.0, that should help me decide which Warrior of Light to use.
Yeah.
Because I'm on Allah right now, but I can't imagine a situation where I'm using Allah in 7.0. It's...
I mean, I'll be the same.
Well, yeah. How many Warriors of Light do you have? I've got 7.
Well, I mean, Raito's new. I mean, there's Aethne, there's Nimue.
I don't remember that.
Nimue Anya.
Nope.
White Mage.
Nope.
I was going through as a White Mage.
Oh, your alt.
Yeah.
When was the last time you touched that?
Whew.
Yeah.
I got to... I think I finished the Praetorium.
The one I want...
And then I made Raito, and then I was like, huh.
Interesting how attached I get when I put lore onto things.
Well, I mean, Nimue had lore, but not as much as Raito ended up having.
The one I want to use would be Averton. But Alphino and Alze would have to be there. So if they're not coming along, I couldn't really use him. And if we're going to go more jungle or the New World, I would have to use Rayla on principle.
Yeah.
So if none of the if Alphino and Alze don't come with us and we don't go to the Golmore Jungle or the New World, I would continue with Allah. So we'll see. I think you'll probably still be Raito.
Yeah. I don't see me changing any. I mean, I've dabbled, because I mean, you know, you saw the female Vieira that I did before, but I didn't give her specific lore or a different name yet. But I created her in Character Creator. I'm interested to see what female Hrothgar looks like.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like a big beefy character person. I don't like those types of builds. So I'd have to see it, because I don't like Hrothgar, I don't like Rogadin.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not my cup of tea. It's not like what I like to see on the screen when I'm playing.
Well, we'll find out one day.
I just don't see them doing female Hrothgar as big beefy.
I could see them doing them like female Rogadin.
Yeah, something similar, yes. But I don't know. I have in my mind what I think it could end up being, but I don't think that's how it's going to be.
Either way, I think we've prattled on long enough. Nothing left to do, but a couple more days. I've got some shit I've got to take care of before FanFest. And then
Yeah,
I've got to pack.
Yep.
And then the trip.
I've got to make my ears tomorrow.
Got to decide what I'm wearing.
Yep. Are you going to be hot for the glam, or are you going to be comfortable?
I need to ask around...
Because it's going to be 120 degrees.
I need to ask around Twitter and see if anybody knows how good the AC is at the convention center. Because, like, remember how we went to, like, the Dr. Phillips place, but the AC wasn't that great?
Yeah.
So, not all ACs are created equal.
And I was sick, and I couldn't stop coughing, and I'm like, I don't want to cough. It's quiet. I'm ruining the experience.
And there was that weird buzzing sound from that one speaker.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Thanks, everybody who, did you need something to say?
No, I was just saying Depanda's gonna be there.
Yeah.
We gotta find her.
Sticker trade.
Yeah. Oh, did you see... Well, I don't know if if you follow him or not, but the Synodic Scribe, the guy I was telling you about that does the lore videos?
I think so.
He's gonna be there, and he got his character's glam made.
Oh.
Like his mask and the robe and everything.
Huh.
I was like,
I think I saw that photo you retweeted.
Yeah. Because I want him to sign my book.
Yeah. And I've got to present my art to all the artists that I admire.
Yep.
I made this. I hope you like it.
Well, I mean, it's mine too. Well, not my art, but my stickers are your art as well.
Yeah. So.
And I thought about doing something, but then I'm like, that's probably going to take too much time. Because everybody and your mama that I've seen post their stickers, they're all die cut. Like every single one of them. And I'm like, maybe I just need to like go and cut around.
That would take so much fucking time.
I know. I have 500. You got like 1,000. And then, I mean, you did your Alice A and Alphino ones in die cut, didn't you?
And they were twice the price.
Yes.
So.
I just, maybe once we get moved and everything, me and Jill can start investing in our craft stuff. That way we can make things better. But yeah, tomorrow is going to be about trying to finish up ears and palm, and then printing. I have to redo Jess's badge.
Right.
For some reason, I guess whenever I was taking out the background, it messed it up some. And then it was like trying to cut out. It was like little small pieces got erased in the glamour plate, or in the adventure plate.
Oh,
and it was trying to cut those out.
before we continue this conversation, I should probably end the podcast.
Oh,
Because people
my
watching this
bad.
don't care about this. Thanks everybody for if you haven't dropped by and made it this far. You'll hear more from us after FanFest, after we come back. But and I get that shit edited. But until then, thank you for stopping by, and talk to you later. Say goodbye, Kevin.
Bye.
Bye bye.